What's up, guys? Today we need to be talking a little bit about exposed hairlines. Exposed hairlines is kind of like the holy grail of hair systems. In fact, I have an exposed hairline right now. But I wanted to give you the honest feedback about exposed hairlines. Is this something that's manageable? Is this something that you should go for? Do they last a long time? The expectations. I wanted to go through all this kind of stuff with you because I think it's really, really important. If you want to have this style of hair, you need to know what it's actually going to be like. You don't need any BS. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at like some pictures and some examples and stuff like that. And we're going to talk about what you can actually expect. Now, the first thing that I actually wanted to talk about when we're taking a look at hair systems is I wanted to show you some examples of
right, like this right here is an exposed hairline. And you can see if you really do look closely, right, like it is something that has a not so natural hairline. Now you could just say hair is really thick, but if you look at the contrast in between here and here, you can see the difference. Now let's move into this video right here, where we're talking about exposed hairlines, right? People saying it's really good. Well, you can still see it. And if you actually look right, this guy has under or down lighting, which means that the light is right up above him. You can see the line right here, so it does exist. Now let's go into some other pictures. This guy, hairline shouldn't be fully exposed. You can still see it right there. Right there. This is maybe one of the better ones. You can still see the line right there, though. That is still going on. Right here. Sunlight. Hairline exposed. This is probably one of the better looking ones. And it still is something you can see the base on. So
that actually shows you a better looking angle than what it looks like than right now. You're actually down below me. Now, when you're down below, you can see really, really well the differentiation between the scalp and also the hair and also the hairline. Now, if I go like this right here, look at that. It completely masks that line, even though it's exposed. So what this means is you need to be very, very careful when you're looking at these videos and expecting, oh my God, it's going to look exactly like that. And then you look in the mirror and it doesn't look exactly like that, okay? So I want to give you guys like reality here. With exposed hairlines, they can be very, very good, but getting near perfection is very hard. And on top of that, it requires some customization, some things like, plucking your hairline, things like, really, really taking good maintenance of your hair system and making sure everything is perfect. But I also need to be honest with you guys that with these hair systems, it takes a lot of maintenance and they do not tend to last as long with that perfect hairline. What do you have to do? Well, if you have a very good hairline, it's because the hair is not very thick and your hair will actually lose some of the hair. Your system will lose some of the hair with time. That being said, there is a way that you can actually extend the longevity of a system that has a really, really good hairline, like where it's thin, where you can kind of see through, where it actually looks like it's, coming back into the scalp. Like, for example, you can see right there, you can actually see into my scalp, right, because it's thinner. So one thing that you'll notice is maybe after about a month, maybe 6 weeks, depending on your usage and all this kind of stuff, you'll see that the hairline starts to get super thin to the point where you actually have like the plastic or the mesh base, but there's not really any hair. Now that area generally does not look great because there's just nothing covering it and it's more noticeable. So what I recommend that you do if you're really going for a great hairline is you actually make the system a teeny bit bigger than you actually use it. Now, with skin, this can be really, really easy to do because it's flexible, like it's stretchy a little bit. So what you can do is you can actually make it your natural size, and then when you cut it down after the fact, which is the point of this, you want to be able to have a little extra hair system that you can cut the front off, so that way you kind of get a little bit more freshness, a little bit more newness out of your system, and it still fits your head. So with a poly, it's very easy because you can just wear it originally just like very relaxed. You can cut a little bit off the front eventually, and then you can kind of just barely stretch it and it'll be the same size again. So this is a tip that you can use to really extend the longevity of your hair system. If you're going for that maximum believability, you have that thin frontal piece right there, but it starts to get a little too thin. Okay, so this is something that you can do to extend the longevity. I want to be honest though about this too. These types of systems are going to require a little bit more maintenance. You do not get a perfect frontal hairline just by not taking care of it. Generally speaking, if you do sweat a lot and things like that, your hairline will kind of start to pick up a little bit of grime, a little bit of sweat, a little bit of that kind of stuff. If you're using tape, for example, the color can actually kind of change as well. It can go from being that like super clear scalp look into like a, that kind of like sweaty, well, the tape will kind of get a little bit yellowish actually, which can cause a differentiation between your normal skin and then the skin where the tape is applied. So you might have to actually move your maintenance up a little bit if you have these types of exposed hairlines, because they really will show. And you don't want to walk around with that feeling of not being super confident. So this is why if you're going to buy like a system from say Levivid that has like these ultra low density one of the systems that has low density in it, and you want the hairline to be really good, I recommend that you actually make it a little bit longer than usual. You also clean it a little bit more often, so that way you're looking fresh and you're keeping it together. And I also want you to know that there is diminishing results here that you can kind of get with these stock systems. Now, I think it looks pretty dang good, what I got going on. And I'm actually not doing any crazy things like plucking or any of that kind of stuff that you can do that's extra. But, we obsess over hairlines on this channel, on the Reddit, where you can join. In general, we obsess over hairlines. Most people are not going to be looking that closely at your hairline. So if it is pretty good to great, you're going to be passing with flying colors. That last realm of the final inch where you're plucking hairs, where you're doing all this crazy stuff, it's great if you want perfection. But at some point, you're going to potentially find your balance between chasing perfection with your hairline and your hair system and what is easy and what is sustainable for you. Because if this is something you're going to be doing for years and years and years, it has to be something that you can fit into your life and that you can manage and that you're okay with doing. So, everybody has a different kind of quotient there in terms of what is sustainable for them. For me, I tend to go a little bit lower maintenance in terms of I don't pluck it. I don't do that type of crazy stuff, but my expectations are lower. Like I'm not looking and chasing for that perfect hairline, because at the end of the day, I've never really had any problems with people talking about it or noticing. So I wanted to reset the expectations on things like this. Now, of course, if you do need or want a low density system, I do recommend what Levivid has been putting out. It's been great. We've been working together. I've been guiding them in this process, and people are getting really great results. This is a low density system as well. And you can see, this right here probably suits me a lot better than most of the systems I've had in the past. But now they're available. Now you can get them. So we need to support these companies as they're producing low density systems. So that way we actually have the options that we kind of need, Anyways, guys, if you do want to get a system from Levivid, you got a link down below. I recommend that you check that out because once again, every time that they see that we're actually buying this kind of stuff from them, man, it helps. It helps move the industry forward in the right direction. So with all that being said, go for the hairline that's exposed, have realistic expectations, and prepare with the right way.